Yeah. See how that was timed? Flawless. Just going to the store now. See what's happening here. You hear that? Behind. So I just stepped out to go to the store and you saw how obvious that was there. Yeah. And then the honking from behind. Yeah. And that was precise. Very precise. So see if they come out when I go back. They'll probably be out there when I return as well. So you see how consistent that is. I mean, that's like every single time now. Now, for a while, I showed that I had been going the other way, the opposite side of the street when I left. Because either way, you can come up to the same main road, right? But so I switched it up again and returned and started coming this way, and you saw that right there. How obvious is that, right? That's good. It's very clear there. And that was precisely timed. So definitely, like, as soon as I put my code on, they got a text message. I'll guarantee you that. There's cameras in the place where I live, for sure. There's some type of hidden camera because no one was outside there at all. No one was around other than them. That's their goal, is to try and get some sort of engagement where they can engage with the target, A, to cause stress and to turn the situation into a stressful situation with conflict and, bickering. B, so they can get the police involved and start making these ridiculous claims that, reading the script saying, you're crazy for filming us doing our stalking activities, and invert the situation. So that's always the goal, but they'll always try to do that. And specifically when the cops are involved in it, they invariably try to do that. Unless it's a situation where they just, they can't. But if it's some sort of situation where, people have manufactured a conflict with the target, intentionally drawn them into some sort of an argument or something, then of course those people will immediately, the police will just show up, and then they'll attempt to do that. They'll attempt to do the gaslighting thing. That's always the routine. And yeah. And the people, you can tell, the people who are doing these things, who they use, are given such flimsy scripts. Like, sometimes they'll say the same things. Like, they're always told to say things like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So it's obvious that, like, repeating the exact same sentences. So, I mean, many of them repeating the exact same sentences, like a script. So you can tell they've been told to say that if there's any engagement with the target, if the target calls them out on what they're doing, they're told to say that, and then, so they can flip it around and create their whole ridiculous fake mental health claims. And then, of course, invariably, if they're ever able to get the target anywhere near these quote-unquote experts, the experts are just going to, slander them. And they've paid off a lot of people within those professions to do that. So that's why they really, really want to get people who are targeted involved in that system. Get them associated with those quote-unquote experts in the mental health field who have been paid off to immediately just dismiss any evidence, dismiss the truth, dismiss facts, and say that the person is crazy. That's how it works. Here's a one-headlight car right here, coming up here. His right, my left, off there. Now the corner of it was partially on, but most of the light was off. So, yeah. So that's how it works, and that's how these things operate. So, It's important to know that, important to be aware of those things, because those are tactics they're always going to use, and they want to draw you like when they're doing things like that, where people coming outside every single time you leave, they want to draw you into a position where you say something to them, and immediately, well, firstly, you're going to be outnumbered if you try to do that, because there's usually more than one person doing it. So it's always a thing of outnumbering you and then putting you into a position where you're stressed already, drawing out manufactured conflict, and then, of course, involving the corrupt Masonic police, who are given specific training to always say that the person is crazy. If you point out gross corruption relating to the police, they're told to say you're crazy. That's crazy. Well, that's why it's important to present these things in a credible and dignified manner, as best you can. And it's hard, it's hard because they're putting you in stressful situations as often as possible. Situations where you're outnumbered, right? You're outnumbered, but you still have to try to do your best in those situations, and that's important to know. So yeah, because when you're dealing with this type of thing, it's sink or swim. Sink or swim. You're in the ocean. To use that old analogy I was talking about before, you're in the ocean with sharks surrounding you, and you have two options. Your ship has sunk, and you're in the ocean without a life preserver with sharks all around. What do? Do you sit there and let yourself drown, or do you try to swim for shore despite knowing that you might die in the process of doing so? The answer as to which option you would take is obvious. But the people who run the program want you to choose option A. They want you to choose learned helplessness. They want you to just sit back, don't do anything about it, and maybe we'll lessen it a little bit here and there. We'll give you a couple days off here and there. Wow, that's a bluff, and they're trying to draw you into a mindset where you embrace learned helplessness. Oh, they switched that sign. Now they got the barcode. They don't have the person holding the 3 6s over the eye anymore. Now it's just a barcode. That ominous barcode that they're showing you everywhere, which obviously is nothing more than coincidence as well. Nothing to that. They're just conditioning you to see a barcode symbol all the time, as well as that symbol of the one eye all the time, preparing you subconsciously by showing you that regularly in ways that seem subtle, in ways that seem innocent. Communist Rouge. Hand signal there, wearing the red jacket. This person came in right the moment I came in, headed over to where I was, and then comes past there and just did the hand signal there up to the side of the face. Wearing red, of course. Normally I don't film in the grocery store too often. If you want to see that, you can watch Gangstalking Australia, because he does that all the time. That's pretty much all he does. Well, he does a little bit. Sometimes he'll film in other retail establishments as well, but that's most of what he does. He drives somewhere and then walks around the aisles and then points out that a stalker came into the aisle and made a hand signal. Normally I don't film that type of thing, but every now and then if it's obvious, we'll film it. What do we want here now? And of course, the last time I was here and that happened, 2 weeks ago, in that store, like I said, there was a woman who clearly was doing like the stalking assignment, creepily following me, and then rushing out of the aisle abruptly as soon as I went up to the cash when like no one else was around there. And so then I quickly turned around, removed the turned around with the cart and went the other way, and it made it so she still had to continue the assignment. So she looked at me and then just continued on to the cash. But it was very obvious she had been sent to do that, because she came shooting out of the aisle like so abruptly, right as I went up to the cash. And there was, there were very few people in there because it was just after 7 a.m. Oh, look at this one headlight off right here in this truck. Look at how obvious this is here. Completely off, that one. On the his right side there. Very obvious. Yep, I got a lot of those around. And again, the police allowing him. Now they're regularly in this area here because this is a central area. But you won't see that guy getting stopped at all, despite the fact that that's illegal. Yeah. Watch this. So holding the phone up. Look at right there. See how obvious he's making it there? Just told I'm coming by there to hold it up just to make it look like, make the target feel awkward. That's all about, letting them know they're on watch. You can see he was pointing at me as I went by there. On the phone there. As soon as I start walking, he's standing there idle. Then he picks up his phone and points it towards me as I start going toward the store. And you can see this here. That seems normal, right? Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was you, buddy. Touch me one time and you're gonna feel something. I'll tell you that. You clown. See what they're doing there. They're trying to get me to hit the guy or do something. Look at what he's doing. They had him do that. He runs up toward me. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah. You can see what they're doing. They want to get me to throw a punch or to do something. If he didn't physically touch me, because he knows that if he does that, then it's going to another level. So yeah, so of course you saw with that incident there, as that guy, he was waiting down there by not too far from the bus stop, and they knew I was coming to the store there, so they had him waiting. And as soon as I started moving toward the doors, he comes up behaving weirdly like some drug addict, and you could see they sent him to run just toward me, but he didn't make physical contact, because if he made physical contact, they wanted me to hit him or do something, right? And I was waiting to see if he was going to make physical contact, then I would have had a right to defend myself, but he didn't do it. And they specifically, 95% of the time, they tell him not to do that, because the whole goal of that was to try and draw me into a situation where I hit him or did something violent. So they do things like that a lot. That's gaslighting right there. They're trying to set up a situation where the target is to blame for something. So you got to be aware of that type of thing if you're subject of one of these operations. Let's see. See our good friends if they're gonna come out. Oh man, every single time. Now there you can make it look a little bit more like, like it was something natural, because he's got the plow there, the snowblower. But every single time, well, not like 90%, they're coming out.